The movie opens in the year 1996 when the research ship Academic goes into the deep ocean to explore the wreck of the Titanic. An avid treasure hunter, Brock is leading the mission as he dives into the sea with his team in the hope of finding a blue diamond pendant known as the heart of the ocean. They use a robotic submarine to explore the insides of the Titanic and manage to find a safe hidden in the ruins of the ship. Brock is ecstatic with his discovery, and they go back to their ship on the surface of the ocean. The team broke the safe with loud cheering in the background, but unfortunately, they couldn't find the diamond in the safe and only managed to retrieve some old paper. Brock is disappointed at first, but when they clean the drawings, he is astonished to find a nude picture of a woman wearing the same pendant they are searching for. When the story of their discovery is shown on television, Brock receives a call from a woman named Rose, who asks him if he found the heart of the ocean and reveals that she is the woman in the picture. Brock is excited to hear this and cancels his search mission to meet her, even though his team is not on board with his decision. When Rose reaches the ship with her granddaughter Lizzie, Brock warmly welcomes them with his team. Brock talks to her about how the pendant was supposed to be on the Titanic as it belongs to a royal man named Caledon, who is engaged to Rose. They also show Rose other things they found on the ship, and she recognizes some accessories, claiming that they belong to her. The team also shows her an animated documentary of how the Titanic sank, and when she says that the analysis is accurate, even though the experience was different, they asked her to share the story with them. Rose agrees to share the story, and when they set up their camera to record, she starts the story by saying that even though it has been 84 years, she can still smell the pain. The story goes back to April 1912, when a young Rose arrives at the shore to go on the Titanic with her mother Ruth, and fiancé Caledon. When they reach there, the place is filled with people who are going on the trip with them. The royalties give them immediate access to the ship while commoners are going through an inquiry queue. Just as this is all happening, in a nearby cafe, there is a young boy named Jack playing cards with a group. Jack wins the tickets to the Titanic in the game and rushes to board the ship with his friend Fabrizio as it is almost time for sailing. Jack and his friend lie about going through the inspection queue and going onto the ship without any hustle. The Titanic soon sails away, slowly floating away from the shore as people say goodbye to their loved ones. On the ship, there are different levels, divided between the elite and lower class people. Rose lives on the upper floors, designated for royals, and has to interact with her snobby fiancé, Caledon, even though she has no interest in it. Rose is forced to eat with the members of the high class, who keep talking about business and how the Titanic is the greatest ship of all time. Tired of all the talk, she makes a rude comment and leaves the table, going onto the deck to get some fresh air. As Rose is standing on the deck, Jack, who is busy drawing portraits and interacting with other people, sees her for the first time. When Jack is staring at her, his new friend Tommy, another passenger, notices him and warns him, saying he is no match for her. That night, Rose is forced to attend another dinner, which leaves her devastated as she feels trapped in the world of rich. She runs to the deck, crying, and is aiming to jump into the ocean. Jack, who was sleeping nearby on a bench, notices her and slowly approaches her. He distracts her by talking about how cold the water will be and then takes off his jacket and shoes, saying if she jumps, he will jump with her. He manages to change her mind and holds her hand to pull her back, but her foot slips and she lets out a loud cry, alerting the guards of the ship. Just when Jack pulls her back with some effort, the royal guards come there and think that Jack was assaulting Rose, so they immediately call Caledon. When Caledon comes there with other royals, they go to hit Jack, but Rose stops them, saying that she slipped and Jack was only saving her. The situation takes a turn as ship captain Edward tells Caledon to invite them to dinner because he is a hero. That night, Caledon gifted Rose with the diamond known as the heart of the ocean, saying that he wanted to give it to her on their engagement but couldn't wait anymore. Later, Rose meets with Jack to thank him for saving her. In their meeting, Jack tries to talk about Rose's situation, as he knows she is being forced into marriage, but Rose refuses to talk about it and instead snatches his diary from his hand. She is impressed to see the portraits Jack has drawn and says that it is a gift that he can see people so well. Meanwhile, inside the royal halls, a businessman meets the ship captain and suggests that they turn on all the engines of the ship so they could reach America earlier than expected, creating a news headline, but the captain is reluctant to go through with the actions. Jack and Rose are still together, as he is helping her to live more freely, but they are interrupted by Rose's mother, Ruth, who takes her daughter away. Jack is approached by another rich lady named Molly, who helps him get dressed up for his upcoming dinner with the royals. During the dinner, Jack is the constant target of taunts and jokes from the rich, but he handles himself very well, not showing any kind of discomfort. After dinner, Jack takes Rose to a party on the lower floors, and they have a good time together, dancing to the loud music. The next morning, Ruth comes to meet her daughter and warns her about her growing friendship with Jack, saying that they are in debt after her father's death, so it is necessary for Rose to marry Kaladin. After her mother's warning, Rose tries to distance herself from Jack, but it doesn't work as he sneaks into the upper deck and says to her that he can't leave without knowing that she is alright. Jack says to her that only she can save herself, which impresses Rose as she reconciles with Jack and they start to spend more time together. Jack let her experience the new side of life, and she let him draw her nude portrait. Kaladin is trying to find Rose, but she sneaks around with Jack, and they go into an empty room with jeeps, where they spend a passionate time together. After that, they keep running away from the royal guards and go on deck to look at the ocean. When they are enjoying their time, one of the guards spots an approaching iceberg and quickly presses the warning bell, informing the team about the danger. The captain and his team take quick action, running the engine at full steam. They turn the ship at the last moment, but their attempt is not successful, as the lower parts of the ship hit the iceberg, which creates holes in the ship and causes the water to fill the lower floors. The steam room is also filled with water, and the workers there hardly manage to escape. The captain tells the workers to close the doors so the water doesn't fill the other floors while they leave the poor people struggling there. As the ship shook violently due to the impact, the elite was concerned by this, but the officials quickly informed them that they threw a shredding blade, which caused the ship to shake, so they had nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Cal visits Rose's room and discovers her nude portrait in her safe, along with the pendant he gifted her. Jack and Rose overhear guards talking about how the cabins are filled with water. Jack says that this is bad, so they rush to tell Kaladin and Ruth about the danger. When they reach there, no one listens to them and instead frames Jack for stealing the diamond pendant and sends him away to get locked up. Meanwhile, Captain Edward is standing on the deck with Mr. Ismay and telling him that even though engineers are trying to fix the issue, there are holes in the ship and 5 compartments are filled with water. He says that the Titanic will sink, and they have only 1 or 2 hours before it happens. Captain Edward takes quick action as he tells his team to send a message that they need an assistant. They also distribute jackets to everyone and start preparing the survival boats. Women and children are put on the boat first, including Rose and other first-class passengers, but she jumps back on the ship at the last minute and rushes inside to find Jack. The captain and his team try their best to keep everyone from panicking and tell the band to play calming music. Meanwhile, Rose finds Jack tied to a pole in a cabin, which is slowly filling with water. She tries to find the key, but when it doesn't work, she brings an axe from outside and breaks the handcuff. When Jack is free, they rush back to find their way out, as the floor is completely filled with water. Jack and Rose reach an exit, but they are trapped there with other lower-class passengers as the guard has locked the door so no one can escape due to the fewer boats available. Jack is reunited with his friend there, and together they break the door to escape from there. Meanwhile, Kaladin is still looking for Rose and bribes a guard to let him on boats when it is time. Soon he meets Rose and Jack on the deck. Jack and Kaladin convince Rose to go on the boat, as Kaladin assures her that he has a place on a boat and will bring Jack with him. Rose goes on the boat at first, but when it is lowered down, she realizes that Kaladin is trying to deceive her and jumps back on the boat. She reunites with Jack as they both run away from Kaladin, who tries to chase them at first, even firing at them, but realizing that he can't delay anymore, he rushes back to the deck so he can go on to the survival boats. Even though Kaladin is disappointed with the fact that he left the diamond in the coat he gave to Rose, he still decides to save his life and gets on the last boat, which they hardly manage to lower into the ocean. Rose and Jack are left behind on the ship with the unfortunate people who couldn't escape to save their lives. The first half of the ship is completely in water, causing the other half to float in the air. Rose and Jack hold tight on the railing, but soon the ship breaks from the middle, and soon the remaining half also starts to sink slowly. Some people have accepted their fate as they peacefully lie in their beds, waiting for their fate, while others decide to end their lives by jumping into the water instead of waiting for the ship to sink. Jack and Rose momentarily splinter when they let go of each other's hands in the water, but they reunite when they come back to the surface. Jack helps Rose get on a wooden buoy that is only space for one person. He stays in the freezing water and makes Rose promise that she will try her best to survive. The people who were in the water slowly froze to death, including Jack. Rose is the only one who is alive, and when a boat comes back looking for survivors, she blows a whistle, which she takes from the body of a dead guard. The people on the boat listen to the whistle and come back to save Rose from death. On the survivors' ship, Rose has changed her last name to Dawson, similar to Jack, and hides herself from Kaladin and her mother, who were looking for her. Back in the present, everyone is devastated to hear the story of the sinking of the great ship Titanic. Rose reveals that she never told anyone about Jack before that, but now they all know that he was the one who saved her in every way a person can be saved. Later, she stands on the deck and throws the heart of the ocean, which she had found in the coat on the survival ship, into the sea. She goes back to her room, lies on her bed, and closes her eyes. The movie ends as Rose dreams about going on the Titanic, this time with Jack welcoming her on board. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to help the channel out. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.